Welcome to the Awakening Support Group for Neurodivergent and Highly Sensitive Beings. Our topic, our jumping off point is holy loneliness. Anybody relate to that? Interesting, interesting. Yeah, the spiritual path helps us to feel connected to others, and mindfulness and basic spirituality. Hi, Heidi. Can help us to have better relationships, feel more connected to ourselves, connected to others. And then as we go deeper on the spiritual path, especially if we're seeking awakening, non dual realization, then what opens up is unity, that we realize that we're the one thing and everyone is the one thing, and it's all the one thing, the one thingless thing, which is deeply intimate. And yet, why would there still be some loneliness that pops up, you know? So no matter where you're at on the path, there can be this kind of sacred aloneness, and of course, there's the tradition of going into hermitages, and going into solo retreats, seclusion. So some sort of cutting off, retreating from the world can be helpful at times. But ultimately, we're living in this world where we're all relating to each other, you know? And so why would we, especially if there's been a deep realization, why would there still be that loneliness? I was interviewed by uh, this university that's doing research on awakening, the process of awakening and states of awakening, um, especially those in later stage abiding awakenings, to hear about day to day and also the process. And it was kind of hours and hours. And I said in our second meeting, I was like, it's really good to talk to somebody who like is actually interested in this shit. You know, early on the path, I was just be like, oh my God, I've realized I'm not the self that I thought I was. Oh my God, isn't that crazy? We're all like, it's all emptiness. We're all translucent beingness. Oh my God. What, Sarah? You're what? And over the years, there's a settling and this integration and but I said it's really great to talk to somebody about this. And the researcher said, yeah, I've been hearing from people, they're interviewing lots and lots of people, that there's a loneliness. People report a kind of loneliness. I was like, oh yeah, huh? Interesting. Yeah, sometimes. So don't think awakening or enlightenment is going to eradicate our humanity. Sorry. Maybe we were hoping for that, right? Or maybe there's a fear that it will eradicate our humanity, right? We sort of oscillate between those two fears a little bit. But I feel what it comes down to, just in working with people over the years and in my own unfoldment, is that our human wiring is we're wired to be seen and to be met. I mean, it was one of the first um, survival mechanisms was to attune to the mother, attune to your caregiver. And we know from tons of research, right, that if the baby's primary caregiver wasn't attuned to the child, that there can be all sorts of developmental and emotional knots that get detangled through one's life, right? But this attunement is so important. It keeps us alive. And so, what is attunement but being met, being seen, being witnessed, being mirrored, having that mirror back, like, yes, I get it. Yes, I see you. Yes, I felt what you felt. Yes, I'm with you. I recognize what you're going through, and I'm here. And so on the spiritual path, we're often surrounded by people who can't meet our inner state. Not like we're so cool and we're waking up and everybody is chopped liver, but not everybody cares about the stuff we all care about. We're taking time on a Saturday morning to gather and talk about this stuff and connect. And so what do we do when we're not being met, we're not being attuned to? I don't know if I have any solid answers today, but I think knowing that that's a human biological need that won't go away can be comforting and can really encourage us to seek out community and connection and like-minded, like-spirited folks. Because it's a trip, when you've recognized and realized something very deep about yourself that is fundamental, eternal, and is shared by all of life, your Buddha nature, true nature, Brahman, pure consciousness. And you can sit with somebody and see that in them. You see that in them. You see the Buddha nature in others. That doesn't mean that person or that being sees it or that they see that in me. And there can be like that's okay. Like 90% of the time, like that's okay. you know? But that 10%, that little bit of loneliness that researcher talked about, like, yeah. And some of you may be familiar with the spiritual teacher Adyashanti. Yeah. He writes about something quite beautiful, and I think it's his book, End of Your World, where he's at a wedding and he had awakened abidingly, and maybe been a few months or maybe a year or two. And he went up to get some food at the buffet and looked back at everybody in the hall having a good time and like the display of humanity and this paradoxical feeling of separateness in realizing the oneness, but this feeling of like, whoa, I'm not going to experience being a human in the same way again, the way everybody does, so believing in our minds, right? And so believing we're a solid, fixed self that needs to control everything, the things that people obsess over and care about. And yet it was so beautiful to him at the same time, this separateness, but yet this interconnectedness. And I like that he highlighted that, when I read that years ago. So attunement and being met and being seen. And I think sometimes too, we tend to give up on people, don't we? Have any of you ever done that? We're like, oh, they just don't get it. They just don't. And we can have friends and family members, often family members, who don't quite get us. And it's the deepest pain, isn't it, when it's a family member? Oh, it goes back to that that very early we want to be attuned to. And we start to find attunement with others, but most importantly with ourselves, being attuned to our own being attuned to the one thing, our Brahman Buddha nature, it is attuning to ourselves. So maybe we can soften a bit with those in our life who don't really get us. And I don't know, maybe we can see what that brings up to see the Buddha nature in others, even though they don't see it in us, and to sit with that and be in their presence and watch these young parts come up that feel unmet and hold space for them within ourselves, while also seeking out the presence of spiritual friends. I think the Buddha said something about that. Noble friends are the whole of the path. Or if you had to choose between the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, choose the Sangha, or the next Buddha will be the Sangha. We've all heard this, right? So that's why we're gathering here, because we're still human. We still want to be met and seen as much as we can be. As neurodivergent people, we spent our formative early years feeling like we weren't getting it right, probably, huh? There was something highly sensitive, if you're highly sensitive, something's, I'm not getting the hang of this sense of other, which sort of adds another layer to just the existential separation that we're seeing through on the spiritual path, right? To maybe have forgotten that we're spirit, but then also to feel like we're also not human. Like, who are these weirdos? We are part of the human family. We are timeless essence. Hmm. And so with that, let's go into a meditation with transmission, and then we'll open it up to Q&A, sharing. Last month's share was really, really profound for several people. It's really beautiful. So closing your eyes, making sure you're comfortable. And I've found that we're not doing this alone. And there are so many beings that are guiding us, our lineages, if we're part of one, and if we're not part of a lineage, every being that ever existed that was a truth seeker is standing at your back with love, saying, yes, keep going. And also, yes, what you seek is right here. And we're here. You're not doing this alone. And so we call in our guides, angels, ancestors, the ascended masters, all truth seekers who found what we've sought through the ages, compassionate beings throughout all the realms and dimensions. We ask that they gather around us in loving support of our highest healings, our deepest awakenings, and our most vibrant thriving. And opening up access to this transmission of truth and love, of healing energies, as they begin to gather at your crown, getting brighter and brighter. Breathing in, you draw this beautiful energy in through the top of your head, exhaling as it begins to fill your whole being, your head and neck, and flowing into your shoulders, chest, and upper back, down into your arms and hands, and into your whole torso, your back, your sides, and your belly. Flowing into your hips and pelvic area, and into your legs and feet, and flowing out through the soles of your feet and into the earth. Clearing away what no longer serves, beliefs and ideas about separateness, and strengthening the recognition of what you fundamentally are. This, this right here, resting with yourself just as you are, your messy human bits, Maybe stories and ideas about separation aren't falling away. Great. Let them be here. Those wounds that seem like they'll never heal, they get to be here too. Your resistances, your bad habits, they get to be here too. Unresolved karma. Come on in, take a seat. The complexity of who you are as a human is allowed here. And what is doing the allowing as you allow? Could it be that something deeper and more fundamental is the space in which your humanity is allowed to arise and be here in all its unresolved and unrefined glory? So we rest here, just resting as the one who can allow. And all the times you were actually understood are here too. That lives in you. All the times you've been attuned to and met, seen, witnessed in your humanity, your neurodivergent deliciousness, in your divinity, maybe, your divine nature, which really is all of it. All the times you've been held in the way you longed to be held lives here too. All the times there's been something true and real exchanged between you and another lives here. Allowing for all of it to be here, for all of it to be true. True in the way that this is your lived experience. And as you sit here, this light that you are begins radiating into the field around you, around your body. And includes your surroundings today. And this light begins to radiate outward more and include those in your life that are close to you, including them in this field of eternal, fundamental light. And they get to be as they are. in all their unresolved and unrefined glory. We have so much in common with others, truly. And this light radiates outward even more, including community and neighborhood, perhaps, the groups you're a part of. So much in common with them. Your divinity and your humanity coexisting, ultimately the one thing. And this light that you are in all its inclusivity radiates even farther out, including all beings everywhere. We have so much in common with them. Their light and goodness we have known in ourselves. Their darkness we have known. Their grasping, their delusion, their misunderstandings, we have known that. Now bringing your awareness back to your neighborhood, your community, the groups you're a part of. Bringing your awareness back to your closest circle of loved ones as you sit here radiating this light. Bringing your awareness back into your own being, to your body as you sit here. You are timeless spirit, and you are a finite human. You are the totality right here, right here. Placing a hand on your chest and one on your belly. And you might even say to your body, to your being, which is life itself, I see you. I see you. And slowly open your eyes.